Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time, and I know you have lots of choices for online activities. So I look forward to this episode every week. Excuse me. And we are just going to dive right in because I have a lot to share today, and I want to be very sensitive as I try to keep these in rapid fire format. So welcome everyone. I want to give a big hello to my community members. This is only publicized in the private Facebook group. So this is something special that I do for all of you. And what I do very quickly is go through 5 questions, scenarios, or wonderments from the past week that I find interesting, and I hope you find interesting as well. Just a little disclaimer that these are responses are coming from my perspective and my personal journey and my interaction with some of the community members, potentially some of my clients, and so forth. So it is rapid fire. So I know that I talk very quickly, but you can always come back and watch the replay. So don't worry if you need to hop off. You can always come back and watch the replay. I have also, very quickly before I dive into the first of 5, I have downloaded all of these Rapid Fire Fridays. There's a collection of 40 episodes on YouTube. So please follow me there. At Annette Conrad. So just search Rapid Fire Friday or Annette Conrad and you can have access to those on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so, you know what? I don't have my bell. I'll have to go get my bell. Or maybe Larry can go grab that for me, because the most fun about Rapid Fire Friday is me ringing that bell after each of the questions. Okay, so the first one is in the spirit of an upcoming masterclass, which is on February 22nd, which is help. I just need to know what social media platform to use once and for all. So in the spirit of that class coming up, which will be on the 22nd, I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between being on multiple platforms and having visibility versus really zoning in on one platform. So I bring this up because I just want to say that recently, even though I do have multiple platforms, I'm really zoning in on one for my business, Edible Impressions. And I finally have taken the leap after talking about it and trying to be all to everybody, is I have someone now helping me with my social media, specifically on LinkedIn. It has been phenomenal. It is amazing. Just a couple of hours a week can make such a difference, and zoning in on one platform can make such a difference. So just to give you a really quick example, I went from 40 followers to 108 followers in less than 2 weeks. It is craziness. So doing 3 posts a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The content is varying, so I'm not always just selling. There's a little bit about the company and about recipes, and there's behind the scenes and all sorts of content that we're putting out there. And basically my bottom line and bottom goal for this is to nurture, grow, and also create a demand. So we're gonna go more into this when I go through that masterclass, but I just wanna let you know that start thinking about what social platforms am I on? And again, it's okay to have a presence on multiple platforms because you never know who's gonna find you, but really zone in on one where your ideal clients are hanging out. And for me, LinkedIn is where it's at. So for my business. All right, so that's the first one. And the second one is the art of networking. So please catch the replay just past Wednesday. I went pretty deep in on the art of networking. So I brought it back. I had done one back in September of 2021. And so I think that was a really interesting topic of conversation. There was really good conversations going on post-event. Some folks had some really good questions, so I do encourage you to go back and read through those. But I did have a related post that came up. So the scenario is we have been doing cookies and wedding cakes for years. Our sales are down. We live in a very fickle area. How can we increase sales? So what I was thinking about was network. That's really what came to mind. And just know that networking comes in all different forms. So go ahead and watch that replay because I go through a number of different avenues that you could consider. But why would you want to, and I'll get to the answer, don't worry, but why would you want to network is basically you're going to be building relationships, increasing visibility, increasing sales, of course, and you're also going to be increasing your resources that you may not need right away, but you'll have later when you need them, just to name a few. So the answer to that scenario is I would question if you are in a fickle area and maybe it's a smaller community, smaller population, it can be tough to sell to be to consumer, being business to consumer. So because you mentioned that you're doing wedding cakes, the first thing that sparks from my event planning experience is, are you working and trying to work with B2B, so business to business, and even further, work with some wedding planners. So in every community, no matter how big or how small, there are always gatherings taking place. And so I would really challenge this person to look at where the special events are happening, where the weddings are happening, and is there an event planner out there in that community helping these families with their special events? Here's the other thing. Once you identify those areas or those businesses or those needs, cater your offering to those. So maybe in your community, it's a farmer's market super popular. Maybe there are church groups that are happening. Maybe there are just general gatherings based around seasonal or themes. And so what you want to do then is learn and understand, well, what would those groups want or need? And then that's what I would do. So don't necessarily have this product that you don't know if anyone wants or needs, but figure out who's out there and then cater to them. So, and again, with that bridal, with the wedding, I would definitely track down an event planner or figure out how those brides and grooms are finding resources and where those resources are. So a little bit long answer to that scenario, but just wanted to get that out there. Okay, so another one, as I go through these, you can suspect that there's in no particular order and that the topics vary. Sometimes it's decorating techniques or tips. Sometimes it's business related. Sometimes I bring back an oldie but goodie masterclass to encourage you to watch the replay. But the next one is all about how do you soften butter? So I've seen this come up a couple of times and I thought, you know what, I think it's time to talk about butter and what are the ways that you can soften the butter? First of all, my quick tip is be very careful not to soften the butter too much. So every cookie recipe is different. Every baked recipe is different. It just depends on the texture that you're going for. But generally, in my experience, having the butter be just soft enough for your mixer to blend and cream that sugar should be sufficient. So there are really three ways. You can put the butter out on the countertop, you can unwrap it, and very quickly, probably within 30 minutes to 60 minutes, that butter should be ready to go. The second one is you can pull it out of the fridge, keep it wrapped. It might take a little bit longer to thaw, but just all you want to do is make sure you can just barely put your thumb or your finger, because these mixers are iron horses. They are very strong and they will mix and cream that butter and sugar is what you typically do with a sugar cookie recipe, is cream that first before you put in any of the wet ingredients, and of course before you put in any of the dry. And then another quick tip, is putting it in the microwave, but you want to be extremely careful to watch that temperature. So do not just open your microwave, put that butter in there, and even if you're thinking, oh, 10 seconds is not bad, make sure you have it on a low power level or on the defrost mode. So again, obviously something that people know, but it is a friendly reminder because believe me, I put butter in the microwave and forgot to reduce the power or forgot to put it on defrost, and I have melted butter for, corn on the cob. So be very careful with that. And then finally, if you are in a rush, a great way to soften your butter is, in kind of a unique way, is take a cheese grater. You can grate the cheese or grate the butter in a cheese grater, and it very quickly will soften that butter for you. So just a little tip there for you in terms of softening the butter. But again, don't go too soft because you don't need to. And I think that mixer is going to cream that for you very, very nicely. Okay, so the next one is, so I just finished an order that is being picked up on Friday. They're individually wrapped in cellophane bags right now. Should I put them in the fridge? Or will they stay fresh sitting on the counter in the bags until they are picked up on Friday? So I need to kind of let you know that there was probably about seven or 8 days that the cookies were produced and that they were picking up the next week. So I think it was 7 or 8 days. So here's my take on this, and at least again in my experience, is that I think people underestimate how long sugar cookies last. They don't dry out very quickly. Of course, you do want to keep them in an airtight container, but that royal icing, if you are decorating with royal icing, there's a lot of moisture in there, and that is going to definitely protect the cookie. but I do encourage you to put them in an airtight, heat-sealed bag. Once you do, those cookies are fresh and delicious for weeks, so without cool storage. So there's no need for this particular scenario that this person would need to put them in the freezer. I do caution on not putting your decorated cookies in the refrigerator, because especially with decorated cookies, because of the condensation. It's just not cold enough. So keep that in mind. And so the gal went on to say, she responded and went on to say that she uses the peel and stick bags. Now those are really clever, and I don't know if it's the most cost-effective bag that you can find out there, but they are clever, they look pretty, they're easy to use because you peel off and you stick them, but they are not airtight, so keep that in mind. There is a little bit of a gap on either side. So I would say, if you're going to be selling cookies and you're going to be packaging them up and then wanting to work ahead, or if you're shipping out, you need to invest in a heat sealer. It's one of those tools that you just have to have. So, and those peel and stick bags are fantastic. I actually do use them for same day events or for cookie classes. They're great. So if you're producing them, you're putting them in the peel and seal, and you know they're going to be consumed right away. Those bags are really, really sweet. So, and they work really well. So your basic heat sealer, one more thing, if you go to Uline, that's my choice of heat sealers. They do range in price, but if you're on a budget and you're just getting started and you're not quite sure if you want to invest, they have a pretty decent basic one starting, I think like as low as 88, but mine was right around 120, 125. So, and it's an iron horse. You take care of it and it will last a long, long time. Okay, moving on to the next one. Can you tell I've had some coffee today? Last week I had some tea. I had some coffee today, so I'm back on track here. Okay, so speaking of in-person events, I am super excited. I recently did a poll asking in terms of what kind of guide do you want me to prepare next? Do you want something related on hiring? Would you want something related on shipping, or doing in-person events? And really in-person events, how to create, plan, and execute an exceptional in-person event was really in the lead. So I'm super excited to make the announcement that I am doing first ever, okay, this is the first ever 90-minute Zoom. So not via Facebook. So I'm super excited because via Zoom, I can hear you and I can see you and we can chat. So I'm gonna be doing a 90-minute, which is paired with my guide, a comprehensive guide that'll be rolling out on that same day. And we are gonna have a conversation about how to plan and execute exceptional decorating experiences. So this first one is gonna be about in-person. I have done so many in-person events and I've done hundreds of virtual experiences as well. And with my 24 years of experience in the planning industry, this is gonna be, I'm so excited because I've gotten everything out of my brain and I put it in this guide. So it's gonna be really, really wonderful for you. And it's gonna be next Thursday on the 16th, 6:30 to 8. Don't worry if you can't watch live, because I will be recording it, and then anyone that purchases will be able to have access to that recording. And then of course that guide that will be available for you. We're going to talk about getting started, choosing a venue, the invitation, registration. We're talking marketing, the setup, use of technology, a supply list, a resource list, a day of, pre-day of, and post checklist. So it's going to be fantastic. Look how passionate I am about this, because I've been wanting to do this for so long, and it actually is really coming to the surface and will be available next week. So just go to AnnetteConrad.com, go to the resource tab, and you can learn all about it. And sign up, because I'm keeping it small. We've got I think we've got 6 people so far, and I really do want to keep it small. So I might cap it at 12 people. So if you want in, get in now. Okay, so that does it for Rapid Fire Friday. A couple things very quickly, as I always wrap up with catching the replay, which was this last week, the art of networking, collaborating. That was this last week, Wednesday. Coming up next week, oh my gosh, in the spirit of Valentine's week, I'm going to be demonstrating the Sugar Prism Choco Changer, which is so cool. You're going to love this. We're talking chocolate and cookies, okay? Check out sugarprism.com, get a little sneak preview, go to the shop tab and look up the Choco Changer, or again, go to AnnetteConrad.com, go to the shop tab, and you will be linked to the event. There's also a discount code that's going to be available for you to purchase this amazing edible paint that can be used in your chocolate treats. So come and join me for that one. There will be a replay, of course. And then on the 22nd, we're talking social media. I'm so confused and tired. I don't know which social media platform to use. I'm going to help you with making that decision. And then I just bear with me here. I'm going to post a couple more events, but I'm actually taking a little bit of some R&R. So that wood grain that I promised you might be on the 1st, but I'm thinking I might push it to the 8th. As I always talk about wellness, taking care of yourself, I think I'm going to take a break that week that I'm on a little vacation. So not to say that I won't pop on for a spontaneous live, but that wood grain technique that I've been talking about will most likely be on March 8th. So thank you so much. I've got more coming your way. I do very much appreciate you. Give me your feedback and visit AnnetteConrad.com to connect with me. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. The sun is shining and the temperature is very reasonable. So I'm putting on my tennis shoes and going for a walk. So we'll see you all really soon. Bye-bye.